It was an ordinary morning in a quiet suburb. The sky was clear, the birds were singing, and the familiar sound of the garbage truck echoed through the streets. However, no one could have imagined that such a routine scene would be interrupted so unexpectedly. Suddenly, the door of a modest house burst open, and a small girl about 8 years old came running out. With tears streaming down her face, she ran straight toward the garbage truck, which was only a few meters away. "Please, you have to help," she cried, her voice full of despair. The truck driver, a sturdy man named Dave, stopped the vehicle immediately. He stepped out, frowning as he looked at the girl. Something in her tone, in her tear-streaked face, made him realize this wasn't an ordinary plea. Calm down, calm down. What happened?" he asked, kneeling to her level. The girl took a deep breath, but her words came out broken by sobs. "It's my mom. She's not moving. And there's a strange man in the house." Her words froze Dave for a moment. He looked at the house she had run out of. It was an ordinary building, with nothing to suggest anything was wrong. However, on closer inspection, he noticed the front door was slightly ajar, swaying gently in the wind. "You said there's someone in your house?" he asked, trying to confirm what he had just heard. The girl nodded frantically. "I don't know him. He came in and closed the door. After that, my mom fell to the floor." Dave knew he couldn't ignore this. He pulled his cell phone from his pocket, quickly dialed emergency services, and explained the situation. "I need a patrol car right now," he said to the operator. "A child is saying there's an intruder in her house, and her mother is unconscious. I'm on Willow Street, number 237. While they waited, Dave tried to calm the girl. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Emily," she replied, wiping her tears with her shirt sleeve. "Do you think my mom will be okay?" Dave gave her a reassuring smile, though he was just as worried inside. "I promise we'll find out what's going on. You were very brave to ask for help." Minutes later, sirens broke the quiet of the suburb. 3 police cars arrived quickly, surrounding the area. Officers exited their vehicles and began organizing the scene. Sergeant Miller, an experienced man with a commanding presence, took charge. Dave explained everything he knew while the police checked the house. Emily, still trembling, stood beside the truck, watching everything with wide eyes. "Stay here with her," Miller told Dave. "We're going in." 2 officers cautiously opened the door, guns drawn. The silence inside the house was eerie, broken only by the creaks of the wooden floor. As they crossed the living room, they found a woman lying on the floor, unconscious but still breathing. Next to her, something unusual caught their attention. A small hidden camera in a corner, pointed directly at the room. Miller immediately ordered an ambulance. However, the real shock came when they entered one of the bedrooms. A man was there, rummaging through drawers frantically, with a wild and desperate look on his face. "Police! Hands up!" the officers shouted. The man tried to resist but was quickly subdued. In his pocket, he had a set of tools and a bundle of papers that appeared to be contracts or personal documents. While the police dealt with the suspect, Emily was taken to see her mother, who was being treated by paramedics in the yard. Despite the scare, she was beginning to regain consciousness. "Mommy!" Emily cried, running to hug her. The mother, still weak, tried to smile. "Did you call for help?" she asked in a faint voice. Emily nodded. "The garbage truck man helped me." Dave, who was watching from a distance, felt a warmth in his chest at the sight. He knew he had done the right thing, but there were still many unanswered questions. Later, Miller revealed details about the man they had arrested. He was a wanted criminal, specializing in home invasions and identity theft. The hidden camera in the living room was part of his scheme to record victims' personal and banking information. "If it weren't for Emily and you, Dave," said the sergeant, "things could have ended much worse." The garbage collector simply shook his head, humbly. For him, it had just been the right thing to do. The quiet suburb was now in an uproar. Neighbors peeked through their windows as the police continued to secure the area. The captured man, identified as Trevor Grayson, was handcuffed and placed in a squad car. He kept muttering incoherent threats as the officers escorted him out. Inside the house, the police continued to examine every corner, and what they found was disturbing. Trevor had turned the place into a surveillance setup. There were microcameras installed, hidden recorders, and even tracking devices he likely used to steal banking and personal information. Sergeant Miller approached Emily and her mother, who was now sitting on a stretcher outside the house, still being monitored by paramedics. "Mrs. Thompson, do you know how this man got into your house?" Miller asked. The woman shook her head, still confused. "I was in the kitchen when I heard a noise. When I went to check, he was already there. He pushed me, and that's the last thing I remember." Miller sighed. "You were very lucky your daughter acted quickly. What this man does is monitor families to find valuable information. He's done it before and always chooses unsuspecting victims." Emily, clinging to her mother's hand, looked up and asked in a hesitant voice, "Will he come back?" Miller knelt to her level. "No, little one. He'll be in jail for a long time. And thanks to you, many other families won't go through what you did." Meanwhile, Dave watched from afar. He never imagined his routine of collecting garbage would put him in such a serious situation. But, looking at Emily, he knew he had done the right thing. Miller approached him, extending his hand. "Thank you, Dave. You acted quickly and probably saved these 2 lives." Dave shrugged modestly. "I didn't do anything special. This girl. She was the real hero." Emily, overhearing the conversation, ran to him and hugged him. "Thank you for helping me." Dave felt a lump in his throat but simply returned the hug. In the days that followed, the story of Emily, her mother, and the garbage truck man spread throughout the neighborhood. People began paying more attention to their home security and watching their surroundings more carefully. But more than that, the community came together to help Emily and her mother. Neighbors organized a fundraiser, allowing them to strengthen the security of their home and recover from the trauma. Dave, initially reluctant to accept any recognition, became a respected figure in the community. He was invited to dinners, events, and even received a certificate of honor from the city for his courageous act. One day, a few weeks after the incident, Dave was finishing his route when he saw Emily running toward him again. But this time, there were no tears. She was holding something in her hands, a small handmade trophy with the words "World's Best Hero" painted in colorful letters. "I made this for you," she said, smiling. Dave took the trophy, and for the first time in a long while, felt a tear roll down his cheek. "I'll treasure this forever, Emily." The story of Emily and Dave wasn't just about an act of bravery on an ordinary day. It was about how moments of crisis can reveal unexpected heroes and bring people together in ways they never imagined. Emily, though young, became a symbol of courage. Dave, a humble worker, showed that anyone, in any situation, can make a difference. And, in the end, the small street in the suburb would never be the same again.